They're about to disclose some information about UFOs. But here's what they won't tell you. See, they don't want to tell you that UFOs are real. And yes, the government is finally admitting that UFOs, although they're calling them UAPs, are real. But what they're not telling you is why they are here.
این چیه دیگه تو آسمون؟ چرا عجیبه؟ داره میاد جلو. نمیدونم.
Are these the aliens that you've seen?
That is not gray.
No, but
Which ones did you see?
yeah, these right here.
Tally. Who manifest? Want it, I see it, I got it, I get it, no question.
Welcome back to another episode of J Tally Reacts, bringing you the highest vibrations on YouTube. On this channel, we're decoding the simulation one reaction at a time. If you want to unlock the cheat codes to life, smash subscribe. Today, we're diving into the phenomena of UFOs causing a ceasefire in Iran. Don't believe me? Stick around to the end and find out. Let's jump into the first clip. Here we go.
They will not allow us to have a global thermonuclear war. I think they've demonstrated that very clearly on several occasions when UFOs have hovered over missile silos and scrambled the launch codes. And that's been their way of saying, you're not doing that. This is too valuable of a place for souls to incarnate into, to learn things, to learn lessons, to grow. And they're not going to allow humanity, now that it's reached a level where it could annihilate the entire planet, they're saying, no, you can't do that. So that's one of the reasons why I think they're finally stepping in.
And do we get to that place because there are just rogue souls who are unruly and childlike? And is like, why are we even at the precipice where our salvation has to be monitored in this way?
Earth is a tough school. Earth is a school of polarities, very extreme polarities. Different planets have different kinds of cycles, different kinds of reasons for being. Souls that incarnate on Earth are like going through a master graduating class of learning to transform negative to positive, darkness to light, limitation to freedom.
Damn, that's crazy.
All right, that affects their timelines too.
Oh yeah, no, the extraterrestrials, the Galactic Federation will 100% stop any sort of nuclear launches. Like, it can't happen.
It affects everything.
It affects everything. It affects the entire universe.
I've heard stories of nuclear bases, like aliens will show up and like shut it off.
Yeah, and so this is why we do have real extraterrestrial orbs and things hovering around military bases. So it's not to say that every footage recently is Project Bluebeam, but this is part of the confusion.
Yeah.
So they are around, and they're more around than ever before because they're trying to get a hold of and stop a lot of the agendas that are playing out.
When you were at the recent Galactic Federation meeting, what was the overall vibes you were getting from the ETs?
The overall vibe is that things are really ramping up on planet Earth. It'd be a crazy season.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the elites are scared. They're running out of resources. They're running out of time, and people are starting to really wake up and question things. That's all we need is consciousness. All we need is just to question the basis of this reality and then to push back on what doesn't feel right.
Hold up. She was at a Galactic Federation meeting? Give me 1 second, guys. Let me look into this.
A few moments later.
So this is Elizabeth April. Apparently, she's a remote viewer, and she has remote viewed the Galactic Federation of Light. She's gone on to the mothership and basically been a fly on the wall in these Galactic Federation meetings. We're going to have to do more research into her because that's pretty amazing. Let's jump into the next clip.
We've seen congressional hearings about whistleblowers showing up saying what? UFOs show up at nuclear locations.
Yep, all the time.
And they've armed nuclear weapons, turned them off as if they were toying with us. The problem with that is, whenever you detonate a nuclear bomb, it creates fissures in this dimension and the next and the next. So if your civilization is existing in one of these dimensions, and if Darwinism is true, you come into this dimension, wait a second, that's a monkey with a nuke. You might be concerned.
And that's all we are. We're basically monkeys with nukes, and our dimensions I mean, look at ghosts. All right, that's a great example. You could see like the outline of a ghost walking by. That's how close our dimensions are.
I worked with the Nordics. I talked with Nordics. They look like us. They can walk among us. I have transported Nordics to another location to change their future for them to walk among us. I have seen their ships. I have entered into their ships and also into the military style back engineer type of ships. I have been to places that they're in charge. I seen greys, I seen reptilians. Reptilians, they kind of look like their skin is like a, how can I put this? Like a cuttlefish. They have the ability to change colors and change the temperature of their skin, you know, but they also can change by changing the color spectrum of their face, they can look human. So it's kind of weird, but they can look human. All this is going to affect consciousness around the world. Right. The release of these is changing the consciousness.
Yeah.
3 people out of 10 people are talking about ETs and UFOs now.
Nordic, I guess, is, now they said it's 7 feet, but then I heard a guy say none more than 6 feet.
That's wild. But obviously this dude was in the military. And if you don't believe the military is informing its troops about the alien phenomenon and what to expect, you better do your research. Quick story. Back in 07, 08, my buddy, he was in the Navy. He told me he was on a ship. He was like on guard duty or whatever in the middle of the night. Nobody was out there. It was him and another guy. An orb came out of the ocean, lit up the whole sky like it was daytime, and then took off. Tell me why the military made him sign paperwork talking about he would not discuss this with anyone, even though he did. I'm not going to put his name out there. But they made him sign NDAs. They've known about this for a long time. And USOs, unidentified submerged objects, really weren't as common back in 2007. That wasn't really known as well as UFOs, right? But if you don't think the military, oh, and to add to that story, my ex, she was pretty high up in the Air Force. She used to work on top secret aircraft. She was a mechanic. I told her, hey, you know, the homie just told me this and this about this USO he saw come out of the water. Have you seen anything like that? Now, this is my ex-girlfriend. She was my ex at the time. Tell me why she says, with a straight face, she says, he's not supposed to tell you that. And that's as far as the conversation went. So you have both sides of the spectrum there. The sides that are going to keep that NDA and the side that aren't. But watch this next video and tell me if you still believe this dude's lying. Here we go.
Yeah.
Are these the aliens that you've seen?
That is not gray.
No, but
Which ones did you see?
yeah, these right here, the small grays have a little
They had a
slippery
mouth? How do they breathe?
That exchange program that Steven Spielberg explained at the end of Close Encounters of the Third Kind was really close to
Draw a female up there because I want to see if I fuck it.
well, I don't know. They look the same.
When special sport comes down, how do you tell a male from a female?
Your point.
They got fun bags?
No, not from what
Who do they fuck?
Actually, EBE1 is a female. The one, was a female. She actually
Draw the other one. This is the gray. Draw all 3 of them.
Do the girls have
Because I want to know which one. What are the reptile ones with me?
And then there's another one, which is actually a clone. Like these things.
Pause. You see the kids, they're just joking about it. They're scared. And I would be too. Because now you got the military briefing their troops on what to expect when they encounter these 3 types of aliens. The Nordics they don't put up there. And this had to be what? 2012 by the footage? I'm just taking a guess. But it looks pretty old, this footage. But you got to wonder. If we're training our military on what to expect when they encounter these entities, what does that mean for us? Are they already at war with these things? Is that what's going on in Iran? Is that what's going on in Ukraine? And was that what's going on in Afghanistan? Is that the whole... Were we really at war with these entities? And they're just covering it up and making it look like we're at war with something else? Let me know in the comments.
A clone, which looks something similar, but it
And
has
these
a
are
large.
bad dudes?
They cloned? They have large.
A
pointy
clone.
noses, but they pretty much. Yeah.
That's right.
There was another incident called the. What was it? Hangar number 4 incident. Good word.
Okay.
Hangar number 4. And these right here are the tall whites, and they're actually a clone created by the small grays.
Are they
They're like servants.
What's the angry ones look like? The reptile ones that you were talking about.
The ones that we're gonna be fighting.
Yeah,
The
are they
ones
evil?
we're gonna be fighting, the reptilians.
The alien ones, or no?
They look like reptiles, not friendly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This is a very bad drawing.
How tall are those motherfuckers right there?
These guys right here, and they're all humanoids, so they both walk on 2 legs. They all walk on 2 legs.
Well, I don't like that thing.
And this thing right here,
the first thing, and they'll go like the first one I probably.
this thing right here is huge. They're actually they're taller than us. They stand about 6 foot something on an average to 7 foot.
Are they are they like 230?
They're huge. I don't know, but the one image that I have seen of them, they're huge. Like they have a very strong build. Like,
but their bones are fragile. What's up with the fucking big dudes? Like, what's their fucking planet like?
Yeah. This guy?
Yeah.
I don't know, but they.
How do they react? Can they breathe oxygen too?
These, yes, but these and these had a large war.
Okay, who won?
These guys. Well, no, these guys won. They almost wiped these out, but
They had a soft spot.
So we should be more worried
but
about
their
blue
planet
ones.
was destroyed, so they had to go to Serpo.
Well, this guy's got a fucking bunch of motherfucking clones. So.
How do you know that there was an alien war?
Because EVE1 said so.
I actually watched Star Wars.
What the f is EV1?
It's the foreign. We exchanged the motherfucking. We did like a foreign exchange program. Yeah, we exchanged communions for some fucking aliens. They took us back to the fucking planet.
They took 12 of us.
You.
If you go online and look at under the Majestic 12, and actually, so President
Eisenhower.
who was it? Told Steven Spielberg when that movie was made, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the president told Steven Spielberg that he hit the nail on the head, and pretty much because at the end of the movie you can count them. They send.
Are these
12 humans
motherfuckers
in
when this?
So there's truth once again in Steven Spielberg's movie. So what's Disclosure really about? I can't wait to see this movie. I mean, it doesn't look really all that good when I see the previews. I'm not really looking forward to it like that. But I feel like it's going to be deep. And I feel like there's a subliminal message in it. So it's a little coincidental that Truman started Majestic 12 in 1947, right after the Roswell crash. Majestic 12, as this uniformed officer just said, was a program where we gave them 12 of our people and they gave us 12 of theirs in order to reverse engineer craft. And these people were appointed by the White House. But the scary part is, was Majestic 12 real? Or is this just another misinformation campaign? If you want me to do a full breakdown of Majestic 12, throw MJ12 in the comments. Let's jump back in.
Hear ye, the aliens have arrived. Got some very interesting images coming out of Kazakhstan last night. Very nice. You'll notice that the mainstream media, for some reason, these are pretty clear. Like, look, here's a photo. I'm going to show you a video in a minute. This was in Kazakhstan last night. Hundreds, if not thousands, of witnesses of some sort of giant mothership in the sky.
Damn, you can almost see windows. I've never seen this one.
Thing is making some waves in the UFO community, and it's supposed to be from the initial attack on Iran. Anything that can eat missiles for dinner and keep flexing in the sky has my full attention. Obviously, it's all happening really fast and nothing's confirmed, so take this with a massive helping of salt. Either way, if it's a legit UAP or some kind of secret US tech, the implications are pretty huge. I got a feeling we're going to see a lot more.
And if you look at that
in the next few
video,
weeks.
I'm going to run it back, but if you look at that video, you could see they're firing on this craft. They're firing on this craft. And as we already know, these Hellfire missiles just bounce off this thing, bro. Wild.
Questions?
Well, and you're leaving out, you know, the kind of the holy grail of the topic, you know, machinery.
Yeah. Is there machinery? Is there, that's what the New York Times story, which we'll talk about in a second. New York Times reported that you modified your facility here in order to house some material from somewhere else. Did you ever have it?
We never had any.
Do you ever see it?
You know, do you see
That's a lot.
things that are photos, or do you see things in person and so forth? So you don't want to talk about stuff in case it happens in the future.
Yeah.
And because who knows what might happen in terms of a coalescing of intersections that could happen. And so
you don't want to spill any beans that causes you, it puts you in a bad light somewhere down the road.
Well, I think that machinery really does exist. It does exist, you know, and so, but the problem has been the inability to back engineer. And I kind of think that some things require a weightless environment. So part of that is we don't have it here terrestrially. So what you need is a manufacturing facility where there's a weightless environment.
It's part of the reason you develop Bigelow Aerospace.
For certain amalgams and certain kinds of things, but it's also like, you know, it doesn't do you much good to own a sliver of a case that holds a cell phone to understand, was it even a case? Was it holding something, and what was that something it was holding? And much less, how does a cell phone work? And oh, by the way, it doesn't work at all if you don't have all the communication capabilities that cell phone needs to communicate with, and all that kind of thing. So it's like it could just domino out into 1,000 different things. So having an answer on a small sliver of something isn't necessarily much, right? So
That's a good point. And if anybody knows, Bigelow knows. Same dude who bought Skinwalker Ranch years ago. He ended up selling it. But the way he skated around the question on whether or not he's ever had it at his facility or has ever seen it, it makes me think that obviously it's our craft. Obviously it works. He doesn't want our enemies to know that we have those capabilities, which now they want him to know. But it makes me wonder because he keeps hitting up the reverse engineered. So is it an ancient technology? Is it something that they had in the days that they built the pyramids that they just back engineered? Was it a gift from aliens? Was it something they shot down? Are aliens not even in the picture? Was this something humans made? Let me know in the comments what you think.
This book, to this day, it's the #1 religious selling book in Russia. He did a whole chapter on UFOs. I'm like, this is wild. His conclusion is it is a true materialization of a demonic deception. He also proposed that the Antichrist could be this deception of an alien being coming down. He quotes this guy, Saint Simeon, the struggler of prayer should quite rarely look into the sky out of fear of the evil spirits in the air who cause many and various deceptions in the air. Bishop Ignatius recorded an awe and foreboding vision. In the middle of the day, he suddenly saw multiple demons in human form sitting in the branches of the forest trees in strange garments and pointed caps and singing, "Our years have come, our will be done." I really do believe that there are stuff that is seen in the sky could be heavenly, but I also believe that there is this true demonic deception that we don't even know what they can do. This one guy who's a UFOologist, he wrote, "Dabbling with UFOs can be as dangerous as dabbling with black magic."
That is crazy.
It's scary, man.
On that note, they do say, don't shoot the green lasers at the UFOs because there will be repercussions. So it reminds me of that.
We talk a lot about Daniel when he's writing and he says, seal up the book until the days that knowledge shall increase and men shall run to and fro. We know that speaking to the final generation. So I'm looking at that map on your screen there that says Iran. We know what the original name of that was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Persia. So Iraq and Iran were together as Persia. Daniel is tied so much to the end times. Of all places, remember when he prayed? He said, the angel showed up and the angel said, the first day that you prayed, I came, but I was held up by the Prince of Persia. Are we dealing with something supernaturally that is literally tied to the principality of Persia? What?
Come on.
Come on now. Come on, Larry.
Let me say this. Yes, I think we are.
Okay.
We had Ali Siadatin here in studio a few weeks ago, and he's Iranian. Before he couldn't go back to Iran because it got to the point where he couldn't go back. I think soon he might be looking to go back because it's a whole missions field for him. He had a UFO sighting in Iran. And he was with his dad and his mom. He was preaching the gospel to his parents, and they were driving hours somewhere. I forget where they were going. And on the way, I think he said he was in the back seat, and his parents and he saw this large UFO in the sky, and then they saw something come up out of the ground, and this UFO goes into the ground, into this structure that comes out of the ground. And so like that's like, you know, classic physical UFO tech, right? I asked him, you know, what do you think that was? And he said, I think it was the Prince of Persia.
What?
That's what he thought. That's what he thinks.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
And he's a brilliant man.
Wow.
All this said, what we're entering into as a human race is a chapter that you can't imagine how it's going to end.
Facts. Something's going down. So apparently a lot of people in Iran saw this craft. They got it from multiple angles, and it's the clearest UFO footage ever. And it looks like your classic UFO, which we don't see very often. But it's pretty amazing how many angles they got of this thing. And then a ceasefire happens. So it makes me wonder, are the aliens calling the shots in this war? It's possible, because this thing goes way above our government. It goes way above Trump. It goes way above the Masons. If you guys remember the hierarchy pyramid I showed you last episode, you'll get it. Even in Ukraine, where we have a war going on, we're getting UFOs caught by drones. Once again, a classic UFO too, unless that's a Tic Tac. That could be a Tic Tac, but it looks more like a classic UFO saucer to me. Crazy. Something's going down, folks. What do you think it is?
is saying right now that the UFO files that the government already dropped were watered down, and they're going to the Capitol steps on June the 9th to demand the real ones. So the guy leading this entire thing right now is the intelligence officer who testified to Congress under oath that we recovered things that were not made by humans. He is going to be showing up on June the 9th with 4 different members from Congress, and they're saying that what Trump released last month was scrubbed before the public even got to see it. Over 1 billion people looked at those files whenever they dropped, but Congress is claiming that they held the real ones back. So what did we see? They're trying to push a bill right now called the UAP Disclosure Act to force it all out, and a part of this bill would actually let the government legally seize any alien tech that private companies are secretly holding. It would also create an entirely new government board that has to officially rule on whether something came from non-human intelligence or not. And people are still betting on Kalshi right now on whether or not the US is going to confirm that aliens exist. I'm obviously going to give you updates the second that this happens, so make sure you go ahead and add me if you don't want to miss whatever comes out.
Damn, bro, I'm so late. You can bet on Kalshi whether or not aliens are gonna show up. That's wild. So we got another UFO in Iran right here, people. A whole fleet of UFOs in Iran, should I say. I'm gonna run that back for you. Look at all of them. That's wild. This lady caught that fleet of UFOs from the ground. Now I'm going to show you what I think is that fleet of UFOs from the International Space Station. Check it out.
Hey, I have a live stream from NASA from the ISS, and I'm not quite sure what I just saw, but I can tell you I've never seen it before. Let's just dive in. Since everyone's going to ask about my map, it is hardware. What makes this doubly interesting is this is the ISS going over the Strait of Hormuz. I've never seen this blotches at all. Normally, this is just black. I have never seen this. So I thought, okay, maybe this is just extra bright on the ground. This is cities. But look at the path. Now, there very likely could be a delay. The dotted line is supposed to be where the ISS is about to fly over at 5 miles per second. A solid yellow line is where the ISS is supposed to be. But judging by what I'm looking at, I believe there may be a lag. So there's the ISS. You can see how fast it's going, heading right over where the conflict is happening with Iran.
Pause. Now, you guys already know how I feel about the ISS. I did a whole video on it if you want to know my true feelings on the ISS. But I do believe there could be some type of satellite flying above that she's getting video feed from. But if you look at the shape of these lights that she's saying are never there, it looks just like that fleet that we just saw. How crazy is that?
All the black is what it normally looks like with little specks and pixelation and artifacts, camera artifacts, colorations. And then there's this. I have no idea what this is. What this normally looks like is what you're seeing in the background. Look at this. I don't even know what's going on there. By the way, it was masses of United States military.
And then you got an actual UFO flying through right there.
Now. Tons of French destroyers. So here's ISS. And what I think we have seen, and look what happens. It does this when it goes over any military significant installation that I have seen. It
does that all the time.
Is when there's something we're not supposed to see, the feed drops. All of these red circles, by the way, are where hits have happened during the war. All of the white is the United States, the light blue is Israel, the green is the French, red is Iran. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the comments. Take care.
Now, the idea of aliens acting as puppet masters to cause a ceasefire in a military war sounds like pure science fiction. If two opposing forces are locked in an intense battle, and all of a sudden, a highly advanced craft shows up over the site of the battle, everything stops. So yes, UFOs are causing ceasefires, not only in Iran, but in the Ukraine as well. Both sides wonder whose craft this is. Because whoever's craft this is, they're not telling. Let's jump back into the clips.
They're about to disclose some information about UFOs. But here's what they won't tell you. See, they don't want to tell you that UFOs are real. And yes, the government is finally admitting that UFOs, although they're calling them UAPs, are real. But what they're not telling you is why they are here. These beings, they aren't just visiting Earth randomly. You see, the ancient Sumerian tablets describe the Anunnaki, who came here over 450,000 years ago and genetically modified the existing hominid on this planet. In some way, this version of Homo sapien that we see as us is their creation. And they've been watching us this whole time. The Pentagon disclosure, it's all controlled. They're showing you what they want you to see. The real truth is, they've been hiding this in the Vatican basement for centuries. These ET beings didn't just visit our ancestors, they are our ancestors. Your DNA contains their code. This is why you feel different, why you feel like you don't belong here. If you're hearing this, it's not a coincidence. You're waking up to who you really are. The children of light. It's time to remember.
Facts. And if you're interested in the Anunnaki and how they manipulated our genetic code in order to make humanity, I put all that in my new book, Cheat Codes to the Simulated Life, an epic guide to metaphysics and manifestation. This book doesn't just teach you how to manifest like a beast. It also tells you the history, at least what I think the history is. But let's jump back into the clips. Here we go. Wow, another fleet. I wonder if this is the same day as that ISS flew over. All right, now we're back in Ukraine. You guys have seen this if you watch my content, but I love this shot. It's just so amazing. Ukraine Defense Ministry advisor shares alleged UFO video. Look at this thing. This thing is wild. But is this the aliens' way of saying enough's enough? Like they're parking over our battlefields so we stop? Are they going to be the reason war stops completely? I hope so. Because enough's enough, bro. It's getting wild. But look, this one's so crazy. Probably my favorite UFO video yet.
It's being reported that UFOs took
guy.
over nuclear missiles at a Russian base and may have gotten ready to launch those missiles. Watch this and see for yourself.
Former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, they were very, very close for years in giving each other information. He says UFOs appeared over a Russian missile base. This was also interesting. Again, now in the congressional record, UFOs appeared over the base, performed astonishing maneuvers in front of stunned eyewitnesses, and then somehow took control of the launch system. The missiles aimed at the U.S. were suddenly fired up. Launch control codes were somehow entered, and the base was unable to stop what could have been initiated World War III.
That happens a
then
lot,
just
right?
as suddenly the UFOs disappeared and the launch control system shut down. I mean, if you're not concerned about national security with this issue, I mean, that pretty much sums it up right there. You know, if that's all true, and again, you talk about George Knapp's credibility, it's really alarming.
Well, and oddly enough, an event like that happened in the United States of America. You can research it. I can't recall the name of it right now, but it's been pretty well documented that the UFOs were sighted over a nuclear installation, and it was completely shut down, and they couldn't figure out what was going on with it. And to this day, they're not sure, other than the fact that there were UFOs flying around it.
If this is true that UFOs, whether they're extraterrestrial or something else, can take over nuclear weapons and do whatever they want with them, not to understate it, but we're in big trouble, baby. Let's just hope they're nice extraterrestrials like E.T. and not mean ones like Alien versus Predator. Shabadoo, Bushkis! Shabadoo!
I don't think they're messing with us. I don't think they're...
Who's actually brave? Al-Qaeda. That
It takes courage and bravery.
Shane Gillis is the
In
beast.
pajamas, throwing rocks at tanks. Heroic shit, dude. Just you and your boys going out in flip-flops. You're all gonna get fucked up, dude. No training. Zero military training, dude. Those guys, those dudes, they had one set of monkey bars. That's what they all trained on. And they were proud of the monkey bars. You remember that video? You've seen them using the monkey bars. They filmed themselves using the monkey bars and then sent that tape out to the world like, not bad. A buddy of mine watches like death videos on the internet. I don't. He watches them. If we're hanging out, I'll watch. We watch them. I watch. Look, I was over at his place. We were watching. I don't know if you noticed, the war in the Middle East is just on the internet. The whole fucking thing. Every dude out there on both sides was wearing GoPros the entire time. Like, you can watch it. We watched like 3 hours of the war in Iraq. And after the first hour, I found myself starting to cheer. Not cheer, but like, relate. I felt like I could relate more to the monkey bars guys. You know what I mean? They were a little more my speed. You ever wonder how you would do out there? Watch those guys. Those are just normal fucking dudes. Second shots are fired. There's no game plan. Everyone's, no shit. Very relatable. Guns jamming. Trying to fire a rocket, it goes straight fucking backwards. They look like me trying to fire a gun. Their feet move when they shoot. Very relatable. They also never won. They got fucked up every single time. Bad. They would blow up like one truck every 5 months. They'd be just as surprised as everybody. Shit finally worked out. You could hear it in their voice. Someone would blow up, they'd be like, oh! Hello! It's like, yeah, dude, that's a human reaction. That's relatable. That's what I would do if I saw a fucking explosion. I'd go, oh! That's human. You ever watch us kill people? I can't relate to that at all. There's some Black Hawk helicopter with night vision, mows down like 40 people. Pilot gets on, he just goes, clear. Just flies away. It's like, yo, that's a psycho. That guy didn't give a fuck about that. At least ISIS is down there having fun, dancing afterwards. You know? It's like Ewok Village down there, you know? Also, I'm not actually pro-ISIS. Right? It's just a Navy SEAL did fuck my girlfriend. And I am having a pretty tough time dealing with that. It sucks, dude.
Yo, shout out Shane Gillis. He's the man, bro. I love him. If you guys want me, I mean, we cover a lot of serious stuff on this channel, and I felt like it's great to lighten the mood. So I think from now on, I'm going to start throwing one comedian in that relates to the topic we're talking about. If you guys like that idea, throw the laugh emoji in the chat. Let's jump back in. Here we go. Oh, and one more thing. It's funny because a lot of people make the point, oh, they're trying to take our guns. They're trying to take our guns. Oh, we have our guns, and that gives us the right to fight back. Bro, I always think about this because it's like, if it came to that, which I pray it never does, but if it came to that, we'd be just like them out there. Yeah, we have guns. We have weapons, but they would demolish us. They have a military, bro. So let's hope it doesn't come to that. Let's find common ground before we get there, okay?
There are people here that have the ability to predict the future. And Chris Bledsoe was one of them. But when he told people what happened to him when one of those orbs came down and spoke to him, y'all thought he was lying. If you don't know, Chris Bledsoe told the Pentagon in 2012, and one of these orbs that he saw came down out of the sky and was a woman. And this woman told him that she was the divine feminine. He also told him something that was going to happen in 2026. Mind you, this is in 2012. She basically told him the world is about to change because they can't lie to us anymore. The veil is broken. We are living in the age of Aquarius. But it's not what she told him.
Age of Aquarius.
It's how she told him. She told him that when Israel and Iran exchanged missiles, she told him in 2026, when Israel and Iran exchange missiles, the veil is gonna be broken. Oh, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit.
I'll tell you what they
Listen.
Recently.
Listen to this man.
Was, and I put this in writing to the Pentagon in 2012 when I told this. Okay?
2012.
One thing she told me was, when you see Iran and Israel exchanging missiles, and I saw it, the way she tells me is a vision of I see it like a living picture screen. I could see the rockets flying. Then all of a sudden, orbs appeared out of the ocean and everywhere.
This is crazy.
And I told the government, if this happens, the orbs are going to appear and wake people up and stop it. That's what she told me.
April 2026.
Yeah.
And okay, you know you've put yourself in it there, Chris.
It's okay. It's okay.
Said orbs are going to appear and stop
April
the war.
2026 is when it all happens.
But I can tell you this, when I told this to
April 2026, he was right on.
I just repeated what she told me. They immediately put remote viewers on. Oh my God, 2026, 2027.
The government put remote viewers on.
That's wild. So once again, our military trying to shoot down a UFO. I have really clear footage of what happens when these missiles actually hit the UFO. I'll leave a link for the video at the end of this episode. Look at that. Why though? Why? It makes me so mad. They either know what this is or they're afraid of it, right?
What in the world is that? People all over Iran right now and all over Twitter are completely freaking out about what this might be. And we also have these weird things showing up everywhere, but we'll get to that in a minute. Which happens to be the same exact color of that thing that we just saw in Tehran. I'm gonna slow it down in just 1 minute. Some people are speculating it might be a new weapon being tested on Tehran. Or is this something else? Because in Canada, I don't know if you know, this is sped down by the way, in Canada, they're having like a complete UFO invasion over there. There's pictures from, these are all different angles of the same thing they saw in the sky, by the way. There are these UFO invasions happening everywhere in Canada, and so many people are getting videos of it. Sorry the video is so small, but apparently everyone in the comments are posting their own videos. These things are just everywhere right now. Did you know that these weird orbs, these UFOs, are showing up at the battle site everywhere? In Israel, in Iran, I mean just everywhere. So it really makes you think what we just saw at the beginning of the video. What really was that? Let me know what you think below.
These things, whatever the phenomena exists, that they don't believe that they operate in the realm that we can understand currently. So the term that they use is interdimensional. Now,
and this is used repeatedly.
This is used repeatedly by the witnesses. Now, have I seen something pop out of a portal? No. I've never personally witnessed one of these things. I've never personally witnessed one of these things. So it's been interesting in collecting all this information and then sorting out who's lying, who's telling the truth, and like what evidence we have that can kind of better put together this picture. What I will say is that concretely, the phenomena exists. You have too much evidence that says otherwise. And what I'm currently focusing on right now is whether or not we can put in place to find out in regards to the funding aspect and mechanism and oversight.
Right.
We can get protections for these whistleblowers.
The so-called release by the Pentagon, the CIA, and the FBI of the real alien files and disclosure and what's going on with the UFOs and do they have the craft and all of that. And we've seen this build up the last 5 years really intensely with all these clear disinformation agents coming into Congress, putting out rabbit trails that go nowhere, obscuring what's really happening, claiming that there's about to be this huge disclosure so they can focus people on their disinformation, and then going around basically with government-sponsored clergy response teams that in the past they set up to tell churches, turn in your guns during martial law, things like that. These are government-controlled pastors. Now they have these government-controlled pastors under an FBI program called InfraGard. It's also connected to NASA and the CIA. It's all public. Going around saying, I'm a pastor that works for intelligence agencies, and the aliens are real, and you need to get ready to have your faith shaken about the Bible and Jesus.
Wow.
And they're using it to undermine, really, Christianity, saying they're defending it. It's also a way to divert the public away from Epstein, divert the public away from the Iran war not going the way Trump wanted, divert the public away from all these other scandals, and I guess try to give us what we want. Tell us about the aliens. This is the people that run the government. This is even beyond Trump. It's the whole skunk works, deep state, secret space program. Meanwhile, they've got all of these known preachers that admit they're going and being briefed by the government, but on no facts, just telling the public, get ready for end times, your faith will be shaken. So the pastors are the ones saying your faith will be shaken. And so that tells you the government deep state plan to hype this, that, okay, God's not real, the aliens are, which we always knew they would do. So this is nothing but a giant psyop. It's completely transparent. It's completely disgusting.
There's some miracle happened. It looked like some spaceship, like there was like an attack from the spaceship. There was some kind of a lightnings was starting shooting from the sky, and like sparks were like spreading everywhere. And then on the morning they discovered that the whole machinery was destroyed. So they, like, all of those soldiers, they thought maybe it was done by some kind of a weapon that we didn't know about, or it was just God's intervention.
Wow.
So, and there was another occasion that we just got from our friend that we know in person. We were praying that they...
All right, so here we have some more war zone footage, and lo and behold, UFO.
That's wild.
Now, it is heavily reported that there's lots of UFO activity in war zones, and nobody knows exactly why. And this is Ukraine. All right, so here we have some...
Bro, their craft are so dope that they could just go park in the middle of a war zone, shooting Hellfire missiles and whatever you got, and they're not even sweating it. That is wild. And then our government still fires on them. It's crazy.
What about this video? I mean, check this video out, everybody. I mean, this is, again, over Asia. And
I think it was this is Afghanistan and near the Pakistan border. Is that correct, Jeremy?
That's correct. It looks like there's a heat shield on this thing. What is this?
I wonder if
it was
described by our own intelligence agencies who've been investigating UAP, that this was a UAP navigating through the clouds. This is not a flare. This is not a lens artifact. This is an object that has no traditional propulsion, but it appears to me in the definition by our own military to be a UAP or a UFO. Now, just to be very clear in the footage you're seeing, people have said, oh, we AI enhanced it. No. Hold up. I provided to the public the 3 core videos directly by our Department of Defense, directly by the intelligence agencies studying this. Now, the white ring around it, I don't know if that's an artifact of the thermal signature, the heat signature, or if that's an artifact of the enhancement that our military intelligence did on the footage. What do we have that flies like that, Harvey? What do we have? We've been told about UFOs for so long.
But Jeremy, it looks like, I'm thinking back to the Mercury days and the Apollo days, it looks like a space capsule coming down.
The bottom of the capsule.
Right.
That would be so cool. Our intelligence agencies still call this UAP since 2020. They do not have resolve on it. They don't believe it to be ours, and they don't believe it to be a known craft of terrestrial nation, or they would have labeled it some, experimental Russian ship. They didn't. They labeled it UAP. And remember, UAP is directly tied to NHI, non-human intelligence. And that was the bill that Senator Rounds and Senator Schumer put onto legislation and tried to get it passed. It's coming a 3rd time now in the big, beautiful bill thing. They're going to try to put the disclosure language in there. How are we doing on this now with this new administration? Have you seen any change? How are we doing? Well, we have the opportunity through a new task force under Trump that's supposed to be about transparency, run by Representative Luna, to have new hearings. I have the direct first-hand whistleblowers that would pack that hearing, and the American public could hear from them. So how it's going, that all depends. Are we going to have another hearing?
I know after that first big hearing a year or so ago, there was a lot of hope and then a lot of frustration that there was still that kind of secrecy and a wall. Has the wall come? Is there a Reagan saying, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall" in Donald Trump?
You know, I think this secret has been held back from the American public so well for so long that we've even ridiculed it in our media for decades. However, there are fissures, there are cracks, and I am a juggernaut, and I am not stopping. And there's others like me who are going to continue to report, and I am extremely hopeful, because if Congress doesn't do their job, then we are going to do it for them.
Facts. Let's do their job for them. So where does that leave us? If we look at the big picture, from Majestic 12 to UFOs causing ceasefires in Iran and Ukraine, well, it leaves us with two mind-bending possibilities. On the one hand, this could be the ultimate psychological operation, or Psyop. Think about it. If the government wanted to hide its own next-generation military technology, it could hide it in plain sight. Or if they want to trick their adversary into dropping their weapons and running away, what better story, what better cover